Hey guys, and welcome back to the Hot Tea channel where we spill tea left, right, and everywhere in between. In today's video, we are talking about Ethan Klein being incredibly offensive, Trisha paytas calling us all obsessed, Britney Spears' huge announcement, James Charles, and more baby talk with Shane and Ryland. But before we get into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new uploads. There is quite a lot to get into, so get comfy and let's spill some tea. Ethan Klein and his crew live streamed like usual this week, but actually ended up offending the gay community with Ethan's presumptions. Ethan is known for pushing the boundaries with his style of comedy, but he's also pretty known for being somewhat of a social activist or quote-unquote ally to these communities. So to hear that he's offended the LGBTQIA+ community was actually surprising to me. He's been throwing around the term power bottom in somewhat of a derogatory way, and this week he finally got checked for it when a fan called in to discuss the problem. The caller, who made it known outrightly that he is gay and also a huge fan of the show, says that it's okay for Ethan and his group to not fully understand what they're talking about when it comes to these things, but this is why he wants to call in. The caller explains that these conversations about quote tops and bottoms are generally a misconception on the H3 show. He says that he's not keeping a tally of when and where Ethan says something wrong and that he's truly a fan, a big fan. The callers seem to be a little more nervous to be on air, so to speak, and that's completely understandable. But that's something that I've been noticing on Ethan's show recently, that someone will call in and be nervous and kind of stumble over their words and find it difficult to make their point, which allows a huge window for Ethan to interrupt and not let that person really ever finish what they wanted to say. I understand that Ethan is running a show and there are time concerns and the rest, but the patience just seems very low when he has these callers on, and it almost feels like he attempts to control the entire conversation by interrupting and making jokes and not letting them finish. I hate to say that, but that's just something that I've been noticing with these callers. The caller continues and says that when it comes to tops and bottoms, you might not always be able to tell.
Do you find it offensive if I say, by being like, oh, he's probably a bottom? Is that the problem? To make
Absolutely.
It's offensive.
The caller explains that this is absolutely offensive and it's problematic as it's making assumptions about masculinity and femininity.
I think the problem is that the term power bottom is very funny to me. And sometimes
it's hilarious.
And sometimes, you know, these alpha men give power bottom vibes.
Ethan details a little bit about why this power bottom joke is so funny to him.
I think maybe the joke is the dichotomy of like their persona of ultra masculinity, but then like the joke being that they're a power bottom.
He's throwing the term out as if it's a negative thing, and the presumption is that it's almost like a weaker, or as he calls it, beta thing to prefer. I think above all else, any presumption on what someone prefers in this regard is literally just not your business and inappropriate to make remarks about, and the caller says that himself.
Well, let me ask you this, Matt. So would you consider yourself a top or a bottom, or you don't do that, the labels?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I knew you were going to go there. And I mean this with all peace and love and with respect, Ethan. It's none of your business.
Oh, sure.
Ethan continuously cuts off the caller and pushes the question and even says, "Can I guess?" at one point. What the f, Ethan? Like, let it go? He literally said no, so why would you continue to ask or attempt to guess? The caller says that if Ethan makes an effort to do better and show some real progress on this issue, then in a few months he will tell him what his quote preference is, and Ethan comes with this.
The reason you're okay, you know what? I'm not gonna get into it, Matt. But we all know which one you prefer.
Yeah, I think you probably do.
Yeah, and that's great.
Like, literally, I can feel how uncomfortable that studio must be. Like, the look on Love's face. They all know that he's fucked up for saying that. The caller tries to see if Ethan understands where he's coming from and what he's saying, and Ethan answers honestly, saying that he really doesn't understand what the problem is, other than he sees that it's not okay to use power bottom in a derogatory way. The rest of the call really doesn't get any better. Ethan gets super personal with the questions that he asks, and I just literally cannot believe that he's asking these things. He, of course, is known for pushing the boundaries, and that's just his brand of humor, but being who he is and how proudly he calls himself an ally, I'm pretty shocked at the way that he handled this entire conversation.
Like, theoretically, Jordan Peterson, if he was a power bottom, he could still be alpha.
Right, yeah,
bottom.
I guess.
I think we all learned a lot here today, don't you guys think?
I don't think you did, Ethan. The whole conversation is actually super harmful to the community right now, considering what's going on with their don't say gay in school thing. The gay community is literally fighting to be seen and heard and not sexualized, and he's doing the complete opposite of that. I don't want to tear this apart too much as Ethan has issued an apology at this point, but I couldn't not speak on this as it's really important. Ethan tweeted an apology saying, "To my LGBTQ+ fans, I'm sorry for comments on today's show. The sexualization of gay men and the grouping of tops and bottoms is a stereotype that I'll be trying to unlearn. Apologies to the caller too, who I shouldn't have pressed inappropriately. Hope you guys know I always mean well." Well, I mean, Ethan is always very quick to understand when he's in the wrong and is usually right there to take accountability. But at that moment of the podcast, it just really seems like he didn't give a shit. Even earlier, before the call, people in the comment section of the stream were calling this out, and Dan, the producer, was telling people to shut up.
Wait, someone's saying I don't know what a power bottom is. Isn't it someone who likes to be on the bottom? I nailed it.
It sounds like you nailed it. I love you guys so much, but y'all really need some LGBTQT.
Why? What did I say wrong?
Shut up.
What did I say wrong?
Shut up. Shut up. You don't know anything about her sexuality anyways.
I mean, at that point of the entire situation, they clearly did not understand what the issue was. The problem wasn't the definition of the word or term or their understanding of that definition. But anyway, Ethan apologized, and the comments, well, let's read some. One user said, "You should have made your apology at the end of the podcast instead of buckling down on how everyone is too sensitive. People are just frustrated with his behavior recently, and it's not even this TBH. He's been getting angrier and more snippy in recent years and less forgiving of others. I personally miss the old H3H3. He just seems to have fallen off." I can't speak about past times with callers on Ethan's show, but I can agree that at least what I've seen this past couple of months when it comes to talking with callers, that he does seem short and, as I said before, just generally impatient with them. Another viewer seems to feel similarly as they commented saying, "I'm curious why you even take callers. You clearly do not want to hear what they have to say or try to understand their perspective. Watching you talk to the past few callers, I'm just not sure what your intention even is. Maybe take a break with callers." Another commenter added, "It's always excuses with you once you know you'll get backlash." And another, "Dan telling us to shut the fuck up and unsubscribe because we're too easily offended was something I won't easily forget." I can definitely agree with the comments about Dan and his initial reaction to the chat when called out, but I'm sure that everything will be addressed in the next podcast as Ethan and his team are usually quick to attempt to rectify any mistakes that they make. But moving on, during their live stream, they also talked about what we are going to be talking about now, and that is James Charles's shopping for diapers. James Charles is still just uploading to YouTube and social media like nothing has ever happened, and it's honestly kind of infuriating. But in a recent YouTube video he posted called "Trying the Cheapest Makeup from Amazon," people were less focused on the makeup artistry and more on James's Amazon history. Around a minute and a half into the video, James shares his Amazon home screen, and in there, clear as day, we can see a purchase history that includes Depends adult diapers in size small. The internet has erupted into speculation as to why these might be in James's purchase history, and some of the claims include a possible BBL recovery. If you're unaware, a BBL is a Brazilian butt lift, and it's an elective cosmetic surgery that basically makes your booty a cutie. Lots of celebrities get them, and you've probably seen them everywhere at this point, but supposedly, sometimes an adult diaper is needed during recovery. That is all speculation, of course. We don't have the cold hard facts as to why this was in James's purchase history, and to be honest with you, do we all need to know? Amongst the BBL rumors, people have also said that a possible reason for the diaper purchase could be age play, which, considering his past allegations and confessions and all that, it just feels super gross, and I would like to move on now. And let's talk about babies. Starting with Miss Queen herself, Britney Spears, announcing that she is in fact pregnant. Britney posted to her Instagram account, which is fully back and she's fully active on again, thank God, with the caption saying, "I lost so much weight to go on my Maui trip only to gain it back. I thought, geez, what happened to my stomach? My husband said, no, you're food pregnant, silly. So I got a pregnancy test and, well, I'm having a baby. 4 days later, I got a little more food pregnant. It's growing. If 2 are in there, I might just lose it. I obviously won't be going out as much due to the pops getting their money shot of me, like they fortunately already have. It's hard because when I was pregnant, I had perinatal depression. I have to say it's absolutely horrible. Women didn't talk about it back then. Some people considered it dangerous if a woman complained like that with a baby inside her. But now women talk about it every day. Thank Jesus we don't have to keep that pain a reserved, proper secret." A huge, big, massive congratulations to her, and we wouldn't be happier and more excited to see her as happy as she clearly is, and now she's pregnant as well. Best wishes, Brit. And while on the topic of pregnant ladies, of course we gotta talk about Trisha Paytas calling out all drama channels for being unhealthy and obsessed with her. She tweeted saying, "Drama channels are all fun and stuff, but like when does it turn into obsession? Like I'm genuinely scared sometimes how some people who really dislike me report on things minutes after it happens. Every little thing that happens or doesn't, it doesn't seem healthy." Not to prove her point or anything here, but of course we had to talk about this in today's video. She basically asked us to. And while I may agree some drama channels create false narratives and use other people's careers as clickbait and can seemingly obsess over very small details in the influencer's life, at the same time, people like Trisha are influencers. Influencers have influence, so to comment on and discuss the behaviors of these individuals, in my opinion, is a very important thing to do and is on par with discussing anyone in the public eye. Calling out inappropriate or offensive behavior is as important as calling out things that should be praised, and a lot of the time, this can breed additional education for the viewer, fan, or whomever. When someone's content is readily available and extremely accessible, there are going to be people watching that may mimic or learn things from that content, so it's up to the public to discuss and debate and educate. Of course, as well as the creator themselves, but we know how that goes sometimes. I wouldn't say necessarily that an influencer has more power than someone in politics, but it is debatable that they might have more influence. And I'm sure a lot of you will jump in the comments and dissect what I'm saying, but good! Free speech and communication is a wonderful thing, and YouTubers, etc. who live in the spotlight get talked about, and this opens doors for conversation and debate, and in turn, this can widen the perspective of the audience and those people around them. But also, tea is fun when it's fun. So Trisha, bestie, no need to be scared. And more on baby talk though, Shane Dawson and Ryland are going to be naming their child Chandler, and here is the tea on that. Ryland uploaded a new vlog to his channel called Spending 1 Week Apart, Living the Single Life, where he takes a trip with his family to Palm Springs and Shane doesn't join him. Shane and Ryland are still in LA and spending time at their old house where Shane is presumably filming. He's been posting to his Instagram story mentioning videos here and there, but he still hasn't uploaded anything yet and certainly has not landed on a regular posting schedule. He says that he's not joining Ryland on this trip because of editing and because he needs to figure out what he's doing with that new podcast that he said he was starting. Shane has also been posting to his Instagram story showing us the equipment he's been buying for the Shane Dawson podcast. The couple decide to both film vlogs in tangent while separate, and Ryland kicks his off with a tour of the accommodation he'll be staying in, which gives me such vacation envy. Ryland's vlog just takes us along with some family time to dinner and casinos, etc. And this burger emoji keeps showing up throughout the video on his face and he doesn't mention it, so I'm not sure why he keeps doing that. So if you guys know, let me know in the comments down below. Shane has huge baby fever and seems to mention it at any point he can, including after getting a gift from Ryland's trip away.
When we make a nursery, can this be in it?
Yeah.
I'm like baby crazy. I don't know what's going on. It's getting like scary. Everything I just think, oh, what would the baby be? Okay, but Chandler Dawson Adams is iconic.
They discuss the name Chandler, which seems to be the leader in their current baby name options. Babies all around this year, it seems. But that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new uploads, as we do post new videos every single day. And for now, let's share some eye bleach.